This is the RSN News Network. This message is from He Gets Us. And do with no rules. Today in Kyiv, Ukraine, they are celebrating the 1 year anniversary of the bombing from Russia in the war against Ukraine. The war started on February 24th, 2022, but they marked it as Remembrance Weekend of the victims of this tragic war that started when Vladimir Putin wanted to take territory back from Ukraine of the eastern part of the country. However, officials report that both Ukraine and also Russia are running out of ammunition that possibly may loom that what is being sent to Ukraine from the West can actually assist in maybe defeating Russia in this conquest. But Vladimir Putin says that if there is any more meddling from the West, the possibility loomed that there may be new weapons that may be administered, which includes nuclear. The West Coast is still suffering in the states of California and in Utah in regards to the uncharacteristic snow and rain that are in the northern and southern parts of the state of California. Right now, 3 deaths are considered to be relevant to the storm in California, as mountain snow was just north of the Hollywood sign on Friday, has now deteriorated in the Los Angeles area, has now turned into rain. However, flash flood emergencies will still be there in the Southern California area. While in Northern California, in the San Francisco area, they are reporting dusting of snow near the California Mountains, just east of Oakland. The system will move west. It'll move east, into the eastern part of the United States, affecting the Atlantic upper mid coast near New York and Boston on Tuesday. Wall Street's going to try to rebound back from a disastrous week. The Wall Street indicators and NYSE indicators and also S&P indicators finished drastically down in regards to the economic report of inflation still rising in January and possibility of it being rising in February. However, the NASDAQ did at least survive with finishing at least 4 points up. The S&P and also Wall Street finished at least 25 to 30 points down. More in a moment. The message from UKG. In sports, it looks like the possibility may loom that there could be another head coach on the move. And that possibility could be looming much of a head coaching position for one Clint Kingsbury. There was a rumor reports that he would be going to the Houston Texans as possibly being their offensive coordinator, but Kingsbury could be signing on as soon as probably next week as possibly the new head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, replacing Wayne Smith. There's just rumor reports, but nothing in stone. Steph Curry, upset about the situation with the Warriors losing to the Lakers last night, says that he's about 4 days away from actually returning to full contact play. The two-time Finals MVP and one-time NBA MVP says that he is really fully recovered after suffering a knee injury back in December in the game against Dallas. And the NCAA is going to take a look into the situation regarding Tristan Miles and Amari Walker, two players from the University of Alabama Crimson Tide men's team, were involved in a shooting that killed a 23-year-old former track athlete back in December. Yet possibly sanctions could be sent against the Crimson Tide men's team, which is actually ranked number 2 in the nation, whether for your area. For the Houston metropolitan area, it's still going to be spring here for a few more days. Yeah, a little bit of chances of rain. With a high today around 85 degrees, the low tonight just not even breaking 71. A little chance of rain Monday, but the high will be 88 degrees on Monday. Right now it's 77 degrees in downtown. That's going to do it for the RSN News Break on Michael Lewis. RSN News. You can do it. Coming up next, it's the Weekend Vibe. You're listening to the Weekend Vibe live on the RSN News Network with MC Lewis and Tony. Get it in time now. 1-800-331-TLK or 1-415-777-TLK. From studios across the nation, here is MC Lewis and Lisa and their special guest, Joy Green. Good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining us on the RSN News Network and RTV television. It is yours truly, MC Lewis. I'm just trying to figure out. I'm going to play around this background. There we go. It is MC Lewis along with Lisa. How you doing?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I'm here. I'm too excited. I'm just too excited. I had prune juice this morning. I was like, I got energy because somebody so special is going to be on this show today. Anyway, don't forget, you can follow us on the Vibe Weekend on Twitter as well. If you want to talk, we do have a lot of great things that will be coming up this month on the Weekend Vibe. But Quanshia, we've been waiting on this woman for. It's all like how you've been waiting on a first date or something. Well, you probably have had 25 gazillion people to go out with you anyway. But anyway, I've been waiting on this woman for like waiting on a first date. Well, let's see. The last time I dated was 13 years ago, 14 years ago. Nah, it won't happen to me. Anyway, we have. I'm so emotional when I think about her. Anyway, she has probably one of the best-selling books on Amazon, and I don't even know what else to say. She's been a survivor of a whole lot of different things in her life, and has been a motivator as well. Our topic today is a new year, new you. Quanshia, I have to bring in Welcome to the. I gotta get this picture off the wall too. I'm sorry. Welcome to the. Welcome to. Welcome to the weekend vibe, Miss Joy Green. Joy, it is a beautiful. It's a beautiful day to have you aboard.
It's a beautiful day to be alive, right?
Yes, yes. We've been waiting. I don't even know what else to say. I mean, I'm just like, Quanisha, I was just like I said, Quanisha and I talked about this the whole week and for the last 3 weeks, and I said, oh boy, what am I going to tell her? What kind of food does she like? Oh, she's married. Oh, okay.
Hey, I'm always accepting food.
You're always accepting food.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Oh, it has just been, it seems like you and I have just gone through the mill of, I know our first conversation was last year. I knew there was a few things, and thank you very much for your support during that time. And I know we would schedule you back last year as well, but it led up to it and led up to it, and I said, okay, let's do it weekends of Valentine's Day. Nah, I'll be too heartbroken. I may ask her too many different other things, and then we came up with this. So it's great that we have a new year. You're our first actual guest of the new year as well.
Oh, wonderful.
And we promise nothing will happen today, so Quanisha won't freeze up and leave.
No difficulties.
Technical difficulties. We don't want those. Anyway, Joy, let's talk about, I looked at your very, very compelling and very nice, nicely put together platform, the Joy I found. I don't even know what else to say. Let me start off with this. I did see, what is the platform? What is the platform Joy I found in relation to your personal journey? How does that relate to you?
Absolutely. That's a great question. So it kind of started off in a space of finding joy, finding me, right? Because I think that's really what we're all here in this planet, right? To find who we are, the true value of what we divinely have within us, and share that out with the world, right? All of us. So I found myself, I found joy, right? And that's a journey, finding who you are and what life means to you and what you're passionate about. And through a lot of struggles, right? We all have struggles, we have challenges. We'll talk about that more, I'm sure, but really over a journey of finding myself and going through a lot of mental health issues, depression, anxiety, attempted suicide. I'd been married, divorced, kids out of wedlock, you name it. I went through a lot of self-destructive behavior. And all of that is a journey and finding joy, right? Finding myself and really having fun with finding joy, right? And now I want to share that out with others because we're all, in a sense, trying to find the best of us, trying to live the best of who we are, right? Without always depending on somebody or something outside of us to make us feel joyful. It's in us. Joy is within you. And so this community that I put together online, right? I also work with people outside of the online space. I instruct yoga and do meditation courses, private and group. But the community is really there to allow others to tap in, connect with me personally as a coach or spiritual mentor. I also have other books and products that really are to help you, right? Us individually find our inner joy, what makes us feel happy and alive, and really what brings this life worth living to us individually.
And I think that is very, very much so. And we all are trying to find that joy. We're trying to find that. We're trying to find that medium where we can connect. A lot of us are, whether it be, we have a lot of stresses. I mean, Quanisha and I can relate to this during our weekly, when we are doing our weekly, time. So that's really, really great. Really great. I know Quanisha had a question for you as well.
Yes, I saw that your book was advertised in the New York, like Times Square, and that is so amazing. Um, so do you have any excerpts or any of like favorite quotes from your book that would give us like a good idea of what we would be experiencing when we read it?
Absolutely. So my most recent book, this is I'm sorry, Stuck is Not Your Story. I Overcame and Am Victorious. And that is a collaboration with 8 different best-selling authors, including myself. And we talk about individually challenges that we've each gone through, overcoming them and becoming victorious through that space of victimhood, right? And coming out of that. And so my story is specifically about that, right? Finding myself. And a quote that I would love to share is, "You have the power to feel strong and to choose joy, even in uncertain times." And I feel like that really speaks to now, back then, in the future, right? Because when are times uncertain? All the time, right? Whether it's in the space of work or kids or family, there's always some level of uncertainty. And so to wait and depend on something to be certain to find happiness or to feel strong, that's not reality. So we have to go within, right, at some point in our lives and decide, I'm going to be happy regardless of what's going on out there. I'm going to feel strong and powerful, and to choose those spaces where you can dip back in to find that strength and that joy, because it's a journey. Some days are greater than others. Some days you're down here, some days you're up here. So you have to know that there's something you can go back to, and that's the space here.
Great. Here's the thing before we go to a break, and I just wanted to, and I'm going to leave this question out there before we go to break, and all of us bring our cameras down. Um, when you Can you share with us, and we'll more like elaborate this on after the break? Can you share with us the listeners on the mental struggles and addictions that led you to a close encounter with death, and how did you overcome those challenges as well?
Ooh, that's a great question and very loaded. So we might have to take a little break. But I do want to start with this. Um, it was definitely facing the reality that I was practically going to kill myself through the destructive behavior, and realizing that, what did I want? Did I want to live? Did I want my life? I have 2 children, 25 and 15, right? I have a husband at that time, when I was really within the struggles and having to make that choice and come out of the self destructive behavior and come out of the toxic relationship with alcohol and the abuse with alcohol that left me on the road, blacked out, waking up with strangers, right? That's how deep I was into that. I had to make a choice and say, do I want to live because I had things to live for? Or do I want to continue down this road, which death, that's the only possibility. And I really had to make a decision that it wasn't something that I could just do by myself. I needed help. And I feel like a lot of us, especially within our community, the Black community, we can do it by ourselves. We don't share too much. We don't want to tell people our business. Unfortunately, that has a realm of space that leaves us feeling alone. And that's where you continue to spiral out of control, when you are alone and not reaching out for help and feeling like, oh, I can do this by myself. Because sometimes we can't.
And we're going to elaborate on that question as we bring our cameras down.
Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, geez, so I feel like I'm on mute all the time. But when we come back, we're gonna actually take a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring our cameras down. We're gonna be back with I don't know, a lovely soul, a great friend of mine, Joy Green, from The Joy I Found. We'll be right back on the RSN News Network's The Weekend Vibe. Oh, there we go. 415-333-TAOK, 415-333-TAOK, 1713-333-TAOK, and also one, yeah, 415-772-TAOK. I'm yours truly, MC Lewis, along with Quanisha. We are here. It is the RSN Radio Network's The Weekend Vibe. Thank you very much for joining us. I had a few technical difficulties. I thought I was back home in California, and I thought it was snowing. And anyway, Quanisha said it's 85 degrees in Georgia. Okay. Yeah, I know the rain's coming to you. Anyway, anyway, we are back here. Topic is New Year, New You, and I don't know. I think I found a sister in her for some reason. Joy Green. She is the author, meditation coach, and founder of The Joy I Found. And I'm gonna be honest with you, we have a surprise for Joy at the end of the day, at the end of the show.
I love surprises.
I know. Let's get back to what we were talking about, Joy. You were elaborating in regards to the situation that situations that may have actually the struggles and addictions, and I know you and I had talked about it, and so even when you were on an alcohol binge, you were working in one of those jobs. It was like as a bartender, and for whatever reason, you were telling me about a vodka. I was like a lot of vodka, like a big ounce of vodka. Wow. That took you into that tailspin, right?
Yes. It wasn't really just one particular event or time in my life. It was really a collaboration of things that we all go through, right? We all go through things, and it piles up. And the thing about emotions and the trauma, if we don't face what it is that is bringing up those negative emotions or bringing up those traumatic memories and really deal with that pain, right, and go through that and come to the other side, what we're constantly doing is shoving things back down and then trying to self-medicate, trying to, feel better through other means that are clearly unhealthy. And to be quite honest, I started drinking hard alcohol at 16. Lunch breaks with older seniors and drinking. I grew up in a small town, Vallejo, right? Small little town. We know E40. That's about as big as Vallejo is. But, unfortunately with small towns, you have kids doing things that aren't necessarily productive because they're bored, right? Or you're following the quote unquote crowd. So I think it was a collective combination of things happening. I got pregnant at 16. Alcohol was a part of that. So as you can see, as I continued, there were things that I put myself in that position and just continued to go on without addressing what's really going on, Joy, what's happening in your life, that you're making these choices that aren't healthy, that are going to leave you in difficult situations, perhaps dead. So I think the biggest thing that I came through and understanding is owning not just yourself, but how you feel. And it's okay. And then deciding, do I need help? Because all of those things that we go through, sometimes we can get through them ourselves, and sometimes we do need help. And I feel like that is such, and I talked about this right before we took a break. In our community, the Black community, we have a big issue with asking for help when we truly need it, and not wanting to look a certain way to other people or to come off as crazy, or all of these labels and all of these things that we do to each other. And it really just hinders us growing and changing and evolving. And when we do that individually, we're helping others outside of us. That's an automatic thing. The more I heal, the more my children heal, the more my husband heals, the more my mother, everybody around me. That is just what happens innately. So as we continue to shove things down and not address it, we're not only hurting ourselves, we're hurting the people closest to us. And that's absolutely what I found along my struggles in trying to just do it by myself, not tell anybody, and self-medicate with alcohol and eventually drugs as well.
And the thing is that I think what touched my heart really much on our first conversation was the fact is and I'm gonna find a twin of you, or if I have to clone you, and then maybe date somebody that has that support like you, that's supportive like you, because of facts. No, here's the thing, and we talked about, and you hit it head on in regards to African American men. As you know, we suffer the most from in the African American women as well. But more African American men are suffering from mental health, and they're not really actually expressing it or evolving around it as well. You know, I'm actually, as you were a suicide survivor as well when as a kid, and I think what you just stated is just so, it's so profound, and it really touches to where, so if you're an African American man listening to this program or listening to this podcast, please do what Joy has basically stated. Don't try to do this by yourself, because it may lead you to a spouse losing a husband, children losing a dad, mom losing a son, a dad losing a son, a brother losing a whatever. Please take this to heart. And if you have any, because I'll put the number up as well before the end of the show, the 988 number, so you can actually be able to reach out to someone if you're thinking about it as well. Quanshia had another question for you as well, Joy.
I did, and it pertained to how do you spread your message in a world where our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter? Because I know it can be kind of like you say something and then it catches people's mind, it catches people's attention, and then 5 seconds later, they're doing the opposite of what you're saying. So it's like, how do you make the message stick, or attempt to at least?
I love that. That's a great question. And I feel like that absolutely speaks to the generation, right? The generational gap, because we have, generation 20s and then obviously past 50, and we have different types of attention. That's a great question, because I want to say repetition is the mother and father of learning. Watch TV for 30 minutes. How many commercials do you see repeated over and over again? Sometimes 2-3 times back to back, the same commercial. That is for a reason. That is for a psychological reason. So if huge companies, billion-dollar companies, are repeating their message, why aren't we doing that with what's important to us? And not only repeating it, but living it. So I say that to share in the social space that we have and the lack of attention span, we can physically be that as well, constantly moving in so many directions where we're not really in tune with who we are and what message we want to share. So it's really important to, one, get quiet. So I teach meditation, I teach mindfulness. Those are stillness, spaces of stillness where it allows you to just sit with whether it's thoughts or no thoughts. And that's a whole process. But it's important to really take action and be what you want to see. If you want more peace in your life, well, how are you being more peaceful? If you want more joy in your life, happiness, well, what are you doing in your personal everyday life to show up and be more happy? Right? So I think it's really about, because we have so many things that we can get into and watch and do and partake in, and that's great. I think that's amazing, because I used to remember getting an encyclopedia delivered to my door, Encyclopedia Britannica. Some people will resonate with that, and some will be like, what the hell is she talking about? We'll go Google it. And I say that because we used to have to wait for information or actively, physically walk to places and go to places to really get information about what we want to know or to help us to tap into who we are more. But it's so readily available now that we are not taking what's important and allowing that to resonate within us and then utilizing that to grow from it. We're bombarded with so much information, and sometimes we just have to turn it off and make a decision. Right now, in this moment, I choose silence. I choose something different. And it's making those choices and constantly making those choices, right? And staying in action as far as consistency, repetition, but healthy repetition, healthy consistency. And that's how you live your message, right? By becoming and consistently taking action in what it is that you believe in.
Joy, and that was a great question, Quanisha, as well to ask, because it's actually, it trails right into, you said generations, and we're talking about now. My question is basically, and it really trails off of Quanisha's question, is what are today's mental struggles that society face with the increasing suicide rate between those ages of 18, even less as 16, to most likely 25? You've seen the highest amount of suicides with youth. I'm just going to say, just an example, in the Houston area, a young lady was bullied at 14 at a high school in Houston just 3 days ago, and she killed herself with her parents' gun. Um, what what struggles do you say you feel that the youth are having around your children's ages?
I think, and I have a 15-year-old, so I can speak to this not only in theory, but in real time. Um, we hear that term from teenagers or young people, you don't understand me. You don't understand, right? I'm sure,
Mhm.
Keisha, when, you remember talking to your mom when you're in high school, you don't get it, mom, you don't understand, or dad, right? That is a common theme, right? And I remember saying that to my mom. So I feel like that's always a gap in between our parents or our caretakers and us being young and wanting to identify with, life to a certain extent, and also to be an individual. And so, because that's a constant struggle, no matter when or where, right? From a youth wanting to come into their own space and not feeling understood by people that are much older and caretaking or guiding you, transparency, right? Communication. I think those are the biggest tools that we can use, because as a parent, it's always easy to tell your child or tell somebody younger, oh, you should do this instead of that. But really being transparent and allowing that younger person to see those mistakes or to bear witness when in real time you are making a mistake or choosing something that possibly can be done in a healthier way, to come back and say, you know what, I made a mistake. Or to come back and say, you know what, you were right, because that's validating that child or that young person. And sometimes young people don't feel validated. I remember that, right? We don't feel validated. And so reminding our youth or the people we're caring for, what you say is important, how you feel is important, asking them, how do you feel, right? Knowing that they have a space to come to when things aren't okay, right? That is, I think, so big. And also letting youth know that it's okay to go to other people for help, safe people, right? Within schools or possibly therapists or counselors. I feel like in our community, we sometimes tell children or younger people, don't tell your business, don't talk about our business. And to some extent, that might be important. But for a child that's going through things in their home, they need somebody sometimes outside of their home to speak to. That's just the reality. If your home is dysfunctional, if there's abuse, if there's things that you clearly are not safe in speaking to the family members in your home, then we have to start having conversations to let youth know you have to find somebody safe. Right. And I feel like that's a big piece that's missing, is a community that truly loves and cares for our youth. And they know they can go and reach out to these other adults or caretakers when they don't feel safe or when they have questions that maybe their parents don't understand, because that is a reality. So obviously that is a process, but we can start anytime, right? We can start opening those doors and having conversations in schools and with youth leaders and with the community leaders, and creating safe spaces for young people to have that transparency.
And that's really a good question. Good answer too on that. A good response. I totally agree with that as well. I think that when you really look at a lot of what with my mom, she because in my childhood it was just my mom had worked 3 jobs, so really she wasn't even at home, because I felt like the caregiver at 12 or 13, because I was the only one at home while my oldest brother was out actually running around getting into juvenile trouble. And then my dad was well within his plight of being with another woman for 35, 40 years on the weekend. So it was very much I can see where a lot of young people I've spoken to as well in my time speaking to people as well. It can be very challenging. Um,
Common.
you're the author of that book, that great book that I viewed, and I'm looking for a signed copy. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
That's for you.
uh, uh, your voice matters, and but I thought it was just something from you, but it's actually it's a collaboration of other people of different scenarios. I'm very intrigued by the book, and I'm very a lot of those people that could a lot of contributors to it. Um, they collaborate about their struggles. Can you speak on this great book and the potential mental growth for the reader? What would they get out of it?
Absolutely. So it's interesting that this book collaboration came about during the pandemic, right? And all of those horrific experiences that we were all going through, especially in the Black community, George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, and obviously the list goes on. And so the publisher came to myself and some other people within her publishing community and said, you know what? We need to share voices. We need to share Black voices right now. We need to share transparency so we can start having these healthy communications and conversations and know that we are heard and what you say matters, right? So the publisher, who is a Caucasian woman, she said, I want only Black authors, whether you are a past author, whether you are a young person, an older person looking to be a first-time author, I want your story. And so I met her from previous experiences, and that opportunity was offered to myself and other men and women. And this book came together, right? So in the time where many of us felt like our voice didn't matter, clearly outside in the world, we were being shown to some extent that our voices didn't matter. This person gave us the opportunity to platform, your voice does matter. And so men and women are sharing their stories about not feeling heard and coming to a space in their life where I know I matter. I know that what I do matters. I know I can make a difference. And so really sometimes when we're feeling stuck, it's healthy to just hear other people's voices and know that we're not alone, right? To just get that reminder that we're to some extent all going through the same thing, right? All humans, we're all living a human experience. So there has to be some collective unity, whether it's at a young age, an older age. At some point, we realize we are all in this together. We are all experiencing similar trauma, similar happiness, similar, times in life where we just want to feel united and not so separated. So I feel like this book kind of brings that together, and we can use that at any time, right? Feeling more united, just feeling more collective as a race, as humanity. And I feel like this book really just shows us how powerful and strong we each really are through our challenges and really owning our voices, right? Through the challenges, through the trauma, owning your voice and knowing that you are strong and your voice matters.
And I think that's really a great um, a great a great title, because you get different voices and everybody else, and we're going to do a trade-off, because I have to. Whenever you do a podcast, I need to be on it, because then I can push my book, Bench from the Court.
I would love
So
that.
my ebook, Bench from the Court. It'll talk about me being stood up at my dates. And I'm just kidding. But well, hey, I break the record in California for that 1 year. In event, let's talk about I'm inspired. Well, I've been inspired since we first talked on the phone, and I'm inspired by your defeating mental challenges, and also, just uh, overcoming bullying and your radiant energy that you bring. That's why I was just so excited to talk to you as far as being a guest on the show. Um, what message, Joy, would you speak to someone who's watching and listening to the podcast that's struggling mentally?
That's a good question. I think the biggest thing that just comes to my mind is ask for help. I think more than anything nowadays, it's so easy not to, because you think, going on your phone and being social there, right? And just kind of deadening that feeling that you need help by, okay, I can communicate with people on my cell phone. That's great, but that's not always real help, right? Real help involves facing hard truths, facing things that don't feel good, and possibly having to make changes that are uncomfortable. So, asking for help requires you to be accountable. And unfortunately, in the world we live in, we are seeing less and less of that. We see more narcissism and less accountability. So, how do you close that gap? You take ownership of yourself and you choose to be accountable within yourself first, because you can't hold somebody else accountable, not even your child, if you're not being accountable for your actions as a parent, right? So I think that's the first thing, right? Saying, okay, this is going on in my life, or I'm facing this, or I'm stuck here. And asking that question, do I need help, or can I get through this on my own? And when I was really at the end of my ropes, as far as losing everything, right? Family, friends, my life, I had to make a decision to start rehabilitation, right? And getting rehab. That was something that I hadn't sought before, alcohol rehabilitation, because I needed professional help, right? What I was doing clearly wasn't working for myself, right? So I needed something more. And I feel like sometimes, and most often in our life as we get older, we're less willing to seek outside, and it becomes more detrimental to do so. So I feel like more than anything, ask for help. That's what I offer on the space, the joy I found. I have a line where you can call and connect with me and just have a conversation. Of course, there's no charge for that. I want to talk with you. I want to understand, what is it that I can do, whether it's just have a conversation, right? Maybe you just need to get something out that you haven't gotten out before, and just get it out. As a bartender, I really loved connecting with people because, sometimes you hear things that you would not hear in any other place but at a bar with patrons. And I feel like that was one part of the job that I really loved, was connecting with people. Because obviously you can see that brings me joy, right? Connecting with humans and learning and understanding and growing together. And that takes communicating. That takes reaching outside of yourself a lot of times. So reach out, ask for help, ask for my help, ask for Michael's help, ask for Quanisha's help, ask for help.
The thing is that I think that we have, we all have to ask for help. And I think the main thing is, I know Quanisha and I are we connect outside of this show.
That's wonderful.
And, sometimes she asks me, or even the person that works with me, for assistance a lot. I know it's going to change Monday, but still, no, sadly, but it's going to change Monday. And I think when you ask people for help, and I think that's, you and I are, Joy, on the same platform. We are both we basically are, please, you need help or whatever, talk to me. I mean, Quanisha's always been able to, from experience, for us knowing each other, and she's a living witness of it. Hey, I need, Mr. Mike, I need help or whatever about something, or your opinion about something or something like that. Because I look at it from a standpoint at being my age at 185 years old, I have to get back to, I'm just kidding. No, being at my age, being able to get back to the millennials, the Xers, the Zers, be able to give that back to them, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be running our space if our space is still here. If the day after tomorrow doesn't happen tomorrow and we have penguins in the back of your yard or something like that. But I think, the basic thing is that you have to have somebody, a support system. And I think that's what is problematic in our system right now. We have to have a support system. We have to have people to reach out. I don't care if Quanisha bothers me at work and it's like, Mr. Mike, I'm really struggling with something. I know we're not working together on the project anymore. I'm really struggling with something. And hey, I am me. text me, whatever. Because I know that it's like who was that 1970s? It's like, I guess your mom would probably know it. Reach out, the ATT, reach out and touch someone, and
I remember that.
yeah, you even remember it probably. In event, 45 minutes past the hour, you're listening to the Weekend Vibe right here, coast to coast, on the RSN News Network and RTV Television. 1-800-333-TLK or 1-415-333-TLK. Boy, we gotta hopefully pray for some warmer weather, Joy, back in our home area, San Francisco, 44 degrees. Oh, goodness grief, in the snow. I'm like, let's see. Yeah.
Not California.
This is it. I'm saying, okay. And there was this is just away from the show for a minute. I'm thinking, okay, see, San Andreas, Dwayne Rock Johnson. Okay. Number 2 is going to be, okay, I got you. In event, we have a lot of things. And I again, Joy, thanks for being on the Weekend Vibe. I know we're going to run a little bit more. We're not through with you yet, but I think the really big thing is that there is a lot of things. I think you and I could say this on the air as well. I haven't even really talked to you for just that one conversation and then from this text back and forth. But I feel like I've adopted a younger sister. And I feel like I've adopted a younger sister. I really am.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've adopted a younger sister. So it's just, because of the fact is I mean, this is the second time we verbally have consulted on a visual level.
Yeah.
But it's just like you touch lives by your radiance and your resiliency.
The God force. It's the God in
You got it. You got it. There we go.
God.
It is. And he moves so quickly. And he brings you like-minded people that are like-minded. Even if that like-minded person on the other end is 180 years old, then things happen. It's a Jericho. It is that. There we go. The prune juice. I mean, anyway. I wanted to, and please send a book to Quanshia as well.
I sure will. I'd love to.
Send a book to Quanshia as well because I know we would love to share.
Please share the addresses. Send me an email, Quanshia and Michael, where I can send autographed copies. I would love to.
Okay, great. For me, just. Yeah, I can't wait to read it. Just make sure if you have single friends who are maybe 120 years old or something like that. No, I'm just kidding.
I love it.
In event, Joy, I waited for this time to actually be able to have you on the program as well. And let me give you, I'm going to give the listeners your actual website as well. You can see it there, www.joyifound.com, my story. You can go there. And also, we got 2 surprises for you. With each consultation, free consultation, they consult with you as well. For every consultation, if you mention you watched the Weekend Vibe with MC Lewis and Quanshia, you're in. Okay, so any listeners that mention the Weekend Vibe with MC Lewis and Quanshia, you actually will get a free consultation with Joy for an hour. Also, as well, I can't let you go from this program. So my thought process, and Quanshia, you can clap afterwards, is the fact is that on a monthly basis, when you are free, you'll be a contributing hostess on this show.
Wow. And you have to share, Quanshia, where are you going?
Nothing. She's gonna be here.
Oh, wait a minute. I keep hearing
I don't know. No. Quanishia not gonna be saying, what you mean, Mr. Mike? You getting rid of me, Tom?
we need her.
No. It's just the fact that sometimes, because Quanishia and I talked about other topics that we may have later on about mental health as well, and since you will have really the ends of it as well. You just be a contributing hostess with us on this show as well. We feel like you're part of the Weekend Vibe family. You've been inducted, or let's say, what's the word for it, Quanishia? You've been initiated. Would it be initiative? Initiated. Kind of like you're going to a sorority and you did something and you did a task and now you got initiated into the sorority. Okay, you've been initiated into the Weekend Vibe family. So you can come back when we have a mental health topic or something. We'd love to have you back as well.
Oh, thank you. I humbly accept, Michael and Quanishia. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful.
Oh, golly, and it's really strange. The only difference between you and I is you had a hat on that had the Raiders on it.
Don't get me my husband in here. He's a Cowboys fan, so we go back and forth.
We can actually hang out, and because your husband and I may not get along because I kicked him out of the playoffs 2 straight years, the 49ers, and then who did we lose to? Never mind.
Right?
Anyway, well, I went to Super Bowl and saw Rihanna, and that was about it. And the good thing about it is the Chiefs won. Anyway, I don't want Philadelphia to win.
That was a good one.
I don't want to win. Anyway, our closing thought as well, and our closing thought for this as well is brought to you by our brand sponsor. Brand partner is Evermore Water. Evermore Water, more better water. www.evermore.com. This is the Vibe Thought. Just our replay of today's program. And again, thank you, Joy Green. Now part of our family of Vibers as well, a contributing host and the only thing is just tell your husband I can send him a 49ers application to be a fan. In event, my thought is that I want to have Joy to be able to give us our closing thought of the day for what we talked about with mental health and how mental health has affected us. And Joy, can you take us out of here with what would you tell our audience as far as inspiring, give them an inspiring quote or an inspiring short message to get us out of here?
So one of the most beautiful concepts of why are we here as humans that I have accepted and believe is we are the physical manifestation of God wanting to live a life as a human and experience all of the beauty and joy that is this earth. And if you think about it that way, how special and beautiful are you to be the manifestation of the Most High, choosing to experience this life? No matter where you are, no matter how you feel, that is a fact. And you can come through and out of whatever you're going through. And it may require help, but just know you have it in you. You have the power to feel strong and choose joy, even in uncertain times. Thank you, Quanishia. Thank you, Michael.
No problem. Thank you very much, Joy Green, for being here on the RSN Radio Network, the Weekend Vibe. I don't even know. I'm just kind of like I said. Let me see. Can Joy do another? Oh, no, I'm just kidding. I just don't.
I can go on.
I know, right? In a bit. We thank you very much for right here on the RSN News Network's The Weekend Vibe. I thank you very much as well for Quanisha and our beautiful guest Joy Green. We thank you very much for being here on The Weekend Vibe on the RSN News Network and RTV Television. Next week, join us. Maybe Joy might be back. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? We thank you very much for the RSN News Network and RTV Television The Weekend Vibe. Until next week, join me and Quanisha for some more great entertainment and more great guests. We'll see you then. Bye.